2021 6,885,900 kilograms of plastic thrown into the ocean. 216 billion of kilograms of toxic waste released into the environment. 23 billion 250 million metric tons of carbon dioxide released into the atmosphere. Our beautiful planet. It could have been a real paradise. An ideal place for human, animal, and plant life. But we turned it into a garbage dump. The air, the water, the earth, everything is poisoned. Back in the 5th century BC in Athens, a first known edict was issued forbidding dumping of garbage in the streets and ordering garbage collectors to dump waste no closer than 1,000 double steps, about 1 mile from the town. Just like 2,500 years ago, dumping in landfills remains one of the main methods of waste disposal. Have you noticed how far our technology has evolved? Every minute, 1 million plastic bottles are sold around the world, which is 20,000 bottles per second, and only about 9% of them are recycled. One plastic bottle takes 450 years to decompose. In Beijing, there is no more room for garbage in landfills. In the past decade, 14 landfills around New York City have been filled up to the limits. The Gazipur landfill in India is as high as the Taj Mahal. Its height is approximately 73 meters and it occupies a space of 40 football fields. The Gazipur landfill was even equipped with warning lights, so that planes or helicopters would not accidentally hit it. At the same time, Russian landfills occupy 4 million hectares. This equals the area of the Netherlands or Switzerland. The waste material decomposes there, emitting methane and other chemicals, permanently poisoning the soil and air and contributing to the greenhouse effect. The landfill gas gets into the groundwater and then into the water bodies, from which drinking water is taken. Incineration of waste materials leads to the release of dangerous gases containing toxic heavy metals, cadmium, mercury, and plumbum. Entering the human body, they affect the blood and nervous systems, create risks of genetic defects, and promote the development of cancer. The new report of the Children's Fund, UNICEF, says that around 1 in 3 children, up to 800 million globally, have extra high lead levels in their blood, which can cause intellectual impairment and even death. 1 truck of plastic is dumped into the ocean every minute. This is expected to increase to 2 per minute by 2030 and 4 per minute by 2050. By 2050, this could mean there will be more plastic than fish in the world's oceans. And it forms vast islands of up to 16 million square kilometers. This corresponds to the size of Europe, India, and Mexico combined. Garbage was found even at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, namely 3,500 man-made objects. Ocean plastic is pernicious to all its inhabitants. For example, on the coast of Spain, a dead sperm whale was found. Its stomach contained 29 kilograms of plastic, which resulted in the mammal's death. All this shows how terrible the consequences of global pollution are. Millions of living organisms are suffering and dying right now because of our irresponsibility. Food chains are broken, whole species are on the verge of extinction, and all of this will eventually affect us. A team of researchers from the University of Tasmania found microplastics even in the ice layers of the coast of Antarctica. Previous studies have shown that microplastics in ice lead to its rapid melting due to heat absorption. Unfortunately, not only the Earth and its entire biosphere has suffered at our hands. but so has space. Scientists have estimated that there are currently about 128 million pieces of space debris that are 1 millimeter across or larger. The speed of these particles can be enormous, up to 14 kilometers per second. They can penetrate the protective cover of satellites and orbiting stations. As a result, 3,000 satellites have already failed and have become junk themselves. Such incidents could cause a cascade of collisions and breakdowns in orbit. And if that happens to just a few major stations, we're excluding satellite television, the internet, GPS and mobile communications. Scientists suggest that at some point humans will no longer be able to launch new satellites into orbit and space will be completely closed to us. We sort waste by product type. We implement some of the hardest ocean cleanup projects. But what happens to this raw material in the end? Today, we don't know how to recycle waste without harming the environment. And the rate of reuse is very low because it is not cost-effective for most industries. And at the same time, we have massive oversupply. The largest manufacturers of automobiles, branded clothing and equipment strive to maintain a high level of demand for their products through constant updates of versions or collections. Producers prefer to store surpluses in warehouses rather than sell them off, as this will lead to price drop and loss of image. In order to force consumers to buy more and more new products, manufacturers began to deliberately produce products with a limited lifetime. Have you noticed that products made 20 or 30 years ago are much more reliable? Have we really lost the ability to make high-quality products? No, it's just not profitable anymore. We consume more and more without noticing that soon we'll be buried under our own garbage.